What's going on YouTube? So what I'm standing next to today is the all-new 2022 Kia Carnival, the replacement for the previous Kia Sedona. Now, about a week ago, we sampled this all-new product, but in the base LX trim level. However, today, what we wanted to do is sample a model with a lot more equipment. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and jump right in and sample this high-end Carnival. So this new Kia Carnival is a minivan that really makes an impression from the second you walk up to it, especially when you choose one of these SX trim levels, which really loads it up and gives it a really sporty look that's just not typical for a minivan. So up here in the front, you're gonna notice that signature tiger nose face, just like most of the other Kia products. However, you're gonna notice up here at the top, we have the new Kia emblem that's mounted up here on the hood as opposed to in the grille. And speaking of the grille, the SX trim levels, they come with a different finish from the other models. So you have this kind of smoked chrome rectangles that are inserted in here, which I think has a really nice look to it. Now, continuing that distinctive design at these headlights, very, like I said, very distinctive. So you have full LED headlights. This is actually your low beam, and then you also have your high beam separated over here. Your turn signal's right here, and then you have this really squiggly daytime running light that runs all through here and kind of integrates in with the grille. Really unique look, and I really like it. Down here at the bottom on the SX trim level and above, this is where you'll find your LED fog lights as well. Now, as we move around to the side of the Carnival, you're gonna notice something that really gets your attention, and that's these wheels. So these are 19-inch gloss black finished alloys, which are included on the SX as well as the SX Prestige. Again, you don't really see that on a minivan to have full black wheels, and they really look nice, especially in contrast with this model's Astra Blue paint color, which I think looks phenomenal. Now, moving above that, we have our mirrors. These are going to include pretty much all of the features. So we do have power folding, we have the LED daytime running light, heating, and blind spot monitoring.
And one thing you're probably noticing about this Kia Carnival's design is that it's a little bit more squared off than the average minivan to kind of give it that more SUV-like appearance that a lot of people are looking for. I also want to point out a few features that are going to be on the higher end models like this one. That's going to be these roof rails. We tested out an LX just a few weeks ago, and that did not have that, and I think this makes it look quite a bit larger or better. And then all of them are going to get this silver piece right here. Now, whether you like this or not, that's going to be up to you, but I do think it has a very distinct look, and it does have this chrome piece that travels all the way throughout the rear and has that really continuous, cool look to it. Now, looking at the rear itself, once again, a little bit more squared off than the typical minivan. And as far as another thing that you're going to notice, it's going to be these taillights. These are actually not LED until you get to the fully loaded SX Prestige model. So these are unfortunately going to be incandescent. However, they do still have a really cool look. And then dropping down, this is where you're going to find your turn signal and reverse light. We also have a nice silver accent down here. However, you are not going to have exposed exhaust outlets on any of the Carnivals. Now, the minivan is all about family, so of course you're going to want some safety systems standard. The Carnival is going to deliver mostly on that, so 3 of your 4 safety systems, which would be forward emergency braking, lane keeping assist, and auto high beams, are going to be standard on all of the Carnivals. If you go for the EX trim or higher, that's going to throw in adaptive cruise control, and if you go for the SX trim or higher, that's also going to throw in rear auto braking. But anyway, guys, that sums up the really cool design of this SX Carnival. I'm glad we finally got to sample a more expensive Carnival. But now let's go ahead and check out the inside, where they're going to have a lot of features. And before we do that, hit that subscribe button down below.
So every version of the Carnival does come with a smart entry system. And as you can see, we do have the newest Kia key fob design here with the new emblem. On the Carnival, it's a little bit wider than the other models, and as you can see, you have some extra buttons for the side door as well as your remote start, and then your other buttons are located here on the side. And then to get inside the vehicle itself, you'll notice when you approach up, the mirrors will fold out, not when you unlock the door, and then unlocking the door itself, you press the black button. Alright, so taking a look inside of this cabin. As you can see, it has a very, very upscale look to it, especially in this color scheme. And speaking of colors, let's go ahead and talk about those different options. So your base model comes with cloth seating, EX and SX come with leatherette, and you can get real leather on the SX Prestige. This being the SX trim level means we have the leatherette, of course. That comes with your choice of black, saddle brown, or specifically for the SX, this Tuscan umber color, which I really like. Now, turning over here to your door trim, you'll notice it is more upscale, of course, than the LX we showed you guys about a week ago. So you have the umber leather up here on the door trim. You have a lot of piano black all through here, which I like. We also have 2-person memory seating on board, as well as 4 fully automatic windows. Heading down here to your seats, you have a couple more ways of adjustments. These are 12-way power with 4-way lumbar support, as opposed to the 10-way on the lower models. And then, like I was mentioning, this is a leatherette seat, but very, very convincing and really a nice design. I love the perforations and the diamond design there, as well as other stitching details and the contrast. Just a really, really nice and very comfortable seat as well. Now, of course, as you'd expect for a high-end Carnival, you are going to notice that the materials are better than the LX trim level. So across our upper dash, this is going to be finished in a soft touch plastic with a stitching detail. You also notice up there that the piano black does continue all around through this upper part. As we come down, you're going to notice that we have a faux wood trim as opposed to the faux aluminum. And I have to say, very impressed by this. It looks nice. It also has like a texture kind of engraved in it, so it's a little rough. Very convincing. Now moving down, we have a lot of piano black all through here. We have some kind of silver trim that runs along here. It is going to be hard to touch though. However, I will say everything does fit together very, very nicely. No panel gaps, and it feels super solid. Now start up, put your foot on the brake, and press the silver button. So this SX trim level is almost fully loaded, but one thing you will notice that's missing is the full 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. That's reserved for the SX Prestige only. And when you choose that option, that will also throw in the blind view camera system. But as far as this one here, of course, you have your analog gauges, and then you have the 4.2-inch multifunction display in the middle, which contains all the typical kinds of information, including your safety systems on the last page. Now, coming back to the steering wheel, we have a really nice electric power-assisted steering wheel wrapped in leather with piano black accents, as well as, of course, the new Kia emblem. As far as the wheel itself, it is going to be manual tilt and telescoping, and if you want heating, that is also going to be reserved for the SX Prestige model. But this is a minivan, so let's go ahead and get into interior storage. So we'll start with our center console here. When I open this up, very nicely sized. You do have quite a bit of storage, goes down nice and deep with a felt lining at the bottom of it. And of course, when we put it to the test with our thick stack of coupons for the whole family, it's gonna fit in there, no problem whatsoever. Now, you do have some more storage right here in front of that. You got your 2 cup holders. And then up in the front, we have another storage bin. This part right here is actually a wireless phone charging pad on EX and above, and your phone can kind of slide back into that tray. However, I will say the same thing as I said last week with the LX model. Compared to some of the rivals, you don't have any center pass-through or anything like that, so this is a little bit less storage on board. That being said, of course, that you also have a much more traditional SUV-like appearance here, and you have a really nice traditional, easy-to-use shifter right there in the middle. So of course, you're just going to pull back for drive, bump over here to the left if you want to do some manual shifting. There are not paddle shifters on the steering wheel. And then heading into reverse, you're going to notice the 360-degree camera system on board. Really nice resolution on this model with the active trajectory. You do have rear parking sensor standard on all the models, front parking sensor standard on the EX and above. And then back behind that, you've got your electronic parking brake with your brake hold function. Now back behind that, you have a silver button here with your seat heating. This is standard on all but the very base model. And then if you want seat ventilation, that is included on this SX trim level or the SX Prestige, of course. Now, in regard to the rest of the climate controls, you've got this really nice, sleek, dual zone automatic climate control setup, again on all but the base model. As you can see, actually some of these buttons here are touch capacitive, but they're very responsive. And then as far as your temperature controls, those are located right here with these toggles, of course. You can also control the rear by clicking that button or making adjustments up here in the main display. And then up above that, we've got our volume knob, as well as, again, some more touch capacitive controls for the audio system. Now with the SX trim level, we actually have the middle tier option. It's going to be an 8-speaker sound system shared with the EX, and we'll go ahead and give that a sample right now. Yeah, so overall sound quality of this system is quite nice. However, if you don't find that satisfactory, you can still get the 12-speaker Bose Premium sound system by upgrading to the SX Prestige model. Alright, so now let's turn our attention up here to this large display. Obviously, this is different from the LX we reviewed about a week ago. This being the 12.3-inch display, which is actually larger than what you get on the Telluride or the Sorento models. And this is included on the EX trim level and above, so it's very nice that it's on the vast majority of the trim levels. So we'll just kind of take a quick look around. You'll notice this is running, of course, the newest version of the Kia Yuvo system with all the graphic updates. As you can see, you have kind of a different design, and it is very responsive as well. Now just point out some of the most important features on board. First, you have your phone projection, so that's going to be Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. With the large display, this is a wired connection, just like with other Kia products. However, if you get the base model with the 8-inch display, that actually will have a wireless connection. Built into this SX trim level, we have the navigation system, which does take up the entire 12-inch display, or you can press that button right there and go into a split screen view. And then let's go and look into some of our specific features related to this Carnival. So if we press that button right there, that's going to load up our camera system. So we actually have kind of a rear surveillance system for the back passengers, and you can zoom in just like that. Off to the side there, you'll also notice it pulled up our passenger talk system. So this is essentially an intercom system which will take your voice in the front and bring it through the speaker system to the people in the third row so they can hear you easily and you don't have to yell. Now, moving up to the very top, you're going to notice a couple features that are SX Prestige exclusive. So we do have the manual dimming mirror on this model still. If you want the home link remotes and the auto dimming, SX Prestige. And then up at the very top, we actually don't have any type of moonroof. That's because the dual panel setup, that's going to be reserved for the SX Prestige as well.
Alrighty guys, so here I am in the Carnival's rear seat, and I'll just go ahead and start by shutting the door before I blow away here. As you can tell, it is a power door. It's also hands-free, so that's a really nice touch, and that's going to be standard on the Carnival. Now, as far as the features that you're going to get in the space, obviously there's going to be a lot of it. So as far as the space, I'll start out with that first. You're going to have 40 inches of both leg and headroom, which is a touch behind that of the Toyota Sienna. And, you know, as you can see, behind your seat position, space is definitely not going to be an issue. I have, I would say, probably a foot, if not a foot and a half of rear leg room. My feet can slide up underneath the seat, and these seats do also recline quite a good distance, and they also slide forward and back a long ways, so that does make it usable for your third row as well as your second row, whatever need you're going to have. Now, you're probably also noticing that we do have bench seats on this model. If you go for the very base LX trim or the SX Prestige, you will have captain's chairs, but all the other ones are going to get this bench seat. And then you can also fold it down, and that's going to give you a table as well as 2 more cup holders back here. Now let's go ahead and talk about the features. So obviously this is a minivan. It has a lot of different features. I'll start right here in the center. We do have cup holders. If we drop down below that, we have a household style outlet, a 12-volt power outlet. Down below that, we have a storage cubby. We also have USB ports in the back of each seat back. And something else you're going to notice in the back of each seat back is that we have the rear seat entertainment screens. So as you can see, there's 2 dual rear seat entertainment screens. It has a lot of really nice features in here. I see built-in Netflix as well as YouTube. I can scroll through all of that. And that is going to be standard on the SX trim as well as the SX Prestige. Now, the SX Prestige is also going to add a bunch of other features. Unfortunately, the heated and ventilated, power reclining, all of that is not included on this SX, but you can get that if you want it. And then as far as other features, we do have vents here on the right side as well as our climate controls, our assist grip, and we also have rear window sunshades. Now a real important part of any minivan has got to be the third row, of course. So let's go ahead and get back there and see what it's like. So in order to get back here, we just locate this little lever right here, pull it, and then that is going to fold it forward and allow you to slide the seat completely out of the way. And getting back here in the third row, there is a lot of space. As you would expect with a minivan, this is actually a very comfortable third row. You're gonna have 36 inches of rear legroom, 39 inches of rear headroom, which is a touch behind that of the Toyota Sienna, but really it's not that far behind. And as you can see, space is not really gonna be an issue. I have a few inches to spare of legroom, and this seat is slid all the way back. My feet can slide up underneath of the seat, so they're comfortable there, and the thigh support is just really fantastic. Now, as far as other features we're going to get, we have cup holders as well as a few storage cubbies. We have a USB charging port on both sides, and we also have third row window sunshades and vents. Now walking up to the Carnival's tailgate, you're probably noticing we do have a hands-free smart opening one on this SX model. So that's a nice feature to have. If you just stand behind it, it will go ahead and sense the key fob and open it up for you. So behind the third row seats, you have 40 cubic feet of space, and that expands all the way up to 145 cubic feet if you fold all of them. They haven't provided a measurement behind the second row, but I assume it's going to be larger than that of something like the Toyota Sienna, and right on par with most minivans. Now, as far as other stuff to mention back here, we do have this pit right down here. It's nicely carpeted. You can, of course, fold the seats flat into the floor to provide a completely flat loading floor. Then off to the left side, we do have some storage cubbies. We also have a 115-volt household style outlet back here, as well as a 12-volt power outlet. And then it also does have the unique feature of being able to smart close when you walk away. So as I leave, it will just go ahead and close by itself. And then as far as the glove box, if we open that up, we do have a pretty good sized one. It's pretty narrow in terms of entering stuff in, but it is very wide, so it fits plenty of coupons in here, so you don't have to worry about that. And then up top, we have a very large sun visor. The mirror is huge, and we also have a light, and we can detach and extend.
Nice. So just like with the LX Carnival, this has got the same 3.5 liter V6 engine, making 290 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque, which Kia points out is class-leading standard power for this segment. I can definitely tell that this is really a stout engine.
Yeah.
You know, it just gets up and going quickly. It also makes like a nice growl to it as you go along. So it kind of just feels and sounds pretty powerful for a van.
Yeah. And, you know, It's worth mentioning that the Toyota Sienna, which is one of its arch rivals, is going to be hybrid only and has a 4-cylinder engine. So you are getting that benefit of having that smooth and refined V6 over something like the Sienna. Nice.
Now, I might as well go ahead and talk about the transmission. What we have on board is an 8-speed automatic transmission, just like with many other Kia products. Really no complaints about this transmission. It does a fine job. Really smooth shifts. It's something that it just kind of blends into the background. And in my opinion, that's all you're really looking for in a minivan. It's something that has nice responsiveness, which it does, but also blends into the background.
And like he was mentioning, the minivan's mission is obviously it's just to be super comfortable. And when we were driving this a week or so ago, I really was impressed by it, and I still am with this SX model. It is so comfortable. I mean, pretty much any minivan is comfortable, so I can't say it's like way better than something else, but it is just absolutely insanely comfortable. Your family is going to enjoy every second that you're in this. And I will get a sound level reading going 55 miles an hour here so we can compare to its rivals.
Keep in mind it's super windy today, so I might raise the number just a little bit.
And we are looking at 56.8 decibels. That's a very, very good reading. Yeah. And with that said, let's go ahead and go into our Slam Dunk and Airball. I'll start out today with the Slam Dunk and say it's the exterior as well as kind of the interior styling. Especially with this SX model, it really looks quite nice for a minivan. On the outside, it has that fully blacked out rims. I mean, this is a stylish offering, and the inside is just a really luxurious and nice place to spend time, especially for the money.
Right, and it's very SUV-like, which is what people want. Now, as far as our Airball is concerned, there's just one piece that I think bothered me a little more than anything else, and that's the fact that we don't have a moonroof at all. I feel that even though the panel roof could be reserved for the top trim, I think Kia should offer at least a single panel for a model like this, which is almost fully loaded.
Yeah. And although price was not today's slam dunk, that does not mean that this Carnival does not still have a lot of value thrown in for the money. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So with front drive, the LX is going to start at $32,100, EX $37,600. SX is going to be $41,100, and the SX Prestige is $46,000. This one, as equipped with the optional paint as well as the destination of $1,175, comes in at $42,970, which I think is a very, very good value for the minivan segment.
So this Carnival, of course, is competing in a refreshed minivan segment with a lot of new and updated rivals. So it does have some strong competition. However, I think Kia has really done a great job really making this a unique product. I think the stuff that really stands out is the fact that you have a very SUV-like experience, which for a lot of people is the reason why they don't buy a minivan and instead get an SUV. So you get a lot of those characteristics packaged in this, including with your style, and then you also have that typical strong Kia value at play. So all in all, this is a super strong product, and I think you definitely should check it out if you're looking for a minivan.
Well guys, that's going to wrap up this in-depth review of the all-new 2022 Kia Carnival SX. We really appreciate you watching this video, and if you made it this far, don't lie to me, I know that means you probably enjoyed watching, so be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and also hit that notification bell as well to get notifications on all of our most recent content. You're not going to want to miss out, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.